just Paul Brown Stadium. I'm a hard 513 Bengal fan, but you about to trample all over me. Sacks and all that. Nah, spring me in the ocean.
All right. Big, yeah, some deep sea fishing, catch a big marlin.
Bury me, but.
All right, well, there we go. We got two non-sports venue answers. So.
Quarterback is literally the most important position.
I understand that he's not sold on us. So why aren't you sold on us? Tell me that. Last 2 years?
Is it because of Carroll?
I mean,
He got us thinking DK.
Russ does not look like
I think he relied more on that Legion of Boom defense. And then he's going to do the same thing. What has he done with Tyler Lockett? Like, I mean, what has he really done? I'm not sold, man. I mean, y'all want to go high.
He made the playoffs his first 8 years in a row. He won, 10 games a season every year for the first 6, 7 seasons or something like that. Nobody's ever done. Welcome in, fans, to another episode of That's Debatable, the first episode of 2023. We're glad y'all joining with us. Ryan Dietrich here with my guys, Jeremiah Bays and Will Ward, and the man AD behind the desk as always. It's going to be a good year. All sorts of sports going on. Like I said, it's Tuesday, January 3rd. Last night, Monday Night Football. Man, Bills and Bengals, it was billed to be quite the shootout. A lot of playoff implications, all those things on the line. Two of the best quarterbacks in the league, and they're playing like you're getting ready to duke it out. Unfortunately, there was a terrifying injury. Damar Hamlin suffered, and it was quite an interesting thing from a broadcast point of view. It was interesting to see Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. You know, that's what we do. We're in the broadcast kind of business. So I was taking notes of how they were handling it. And, you know, they had to postpone the game. We're still waiting to see when that's going to get rescheduled. Like I said, a lot of playoff implications, fantasy football championships on the line, and it's just the way the NFL's been this year. It's been a lot, you know, injuries, health concerns, mental health, all those things like that. And again, Week 17 was highlighted by, you know, Jalen Hurts being out, Tua's injury still lagging, you know, Lamar Jackson banged up. So things like that. So it was, you know, an interesting Monday, an excellent shot there. All the thoughts and prayers. It was quite the scene to see the teams come together, especially in such, you know, a show of unity. You know, so thoughts and prayers out to the man and hope that he comes back to full health. You know, Cincinnati, close by, one of the best hospitals around, so we got excellent treatment right away. But, you know, a terrifying scene to see on the TV. I can't imagine being a fan there. So, you know, just one of those nights that we'll all remember, you know, and we're hoping for the best. And it made me, I did a little research and looked at other times this happened. There was a bit, the 2020 Euros, this guy Christian Eriksen playing for Team Denmark. Basically, the exact same thing happened. I was reading a great article on The Guardian about a year later, about the day like Denmark stood still and all of the things that went into saving him and the rest of it. So, out of these kind of tragedies does come, joy, love, success, stories of people coming together. So, we're rooting for the best for the man. But we got a lot to talk about today. I guess it'll be a sad note. Last weekend, college football playoffs happened. It was a hell of a weekend in football, a lot of great games. But unfortunately for the Ohio State Buckeyes, which is where we are, the great city of Columbus, Ohio, man, they had a tough test against Georgia, and they stumbled. And I use the word stumble choicely. We will talk about quarterback Ransom falling down, giving up a huge touchdown, which was, one of the turning points in the game.
He's been getting cooked all season.
Yep. He's made some great plays, though, too. So, like I say at the bottom there, I texted Will. I said, I'm putting my cape on for C.J. Stroud, and he did. He had a Heisman-worthy performance, which is what they needed. Buckeyes lose 42-41, the last-second kick. We all know about it. So, where were you New Year's Eve? Tell me about it.
I was at the crib, man, watching it with the family, celebrating, trying to bring in the new year with what I was thinking was a good Buckeye dub, and getting to my Sunday team, the pros, and hopefully getting just a solid weekend of my Buckeyes and Vikings winning, and even my USC Trojans, and nobody got the dub except for this team on my shirt. But besides that,
they've been getting lots of dubs.
I was at the crib, into it. I just I looked at the clock right before the kick, and I'm saying like, oh, it's about to be New Year. Now this is how you start your New Year off.
Yep.
And as they say, the ball didn't drop this year, it went way left. So it's Noah Ruggles did not part the sea like I hoped it. He hoped he did. He stayed on the shore. I just
Yep.
I don't know what else to say, man. It's tough. They asked me like, it's a lot of Michigan fans who try to troll or whatnot.
No way.
They was quiet the whole day until the ball dropped. But I got what a lot of people counted us. My quote leading up to this game was they counted us out, and it's not that I'm counting us in. I just got to see what we do. And what I seen is my quarterback show heart. I've been questioning his heart and his dog for some time now, and he showed me that yesterday or Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And he like in a way of a loss, I could honestly say that Coleridge Bernard, a.k.a. C.J. Stroud, definitely made me proud.
Dude, he did. He balled out. He been getting a lot of criticism.
Lay it all on the line. That's all I asked, and he definitely laid it all on the line. If he didn't have to pass, he definitely took off. Like he did everything that we've been drilling him about.
Yep, very happy to see him running the ball a little bit. Yeah, really.
We didn't get the dub. It's unfortunate, but they ain't even think it'd be that close.
For sure.
Yeah, I piggyback on what y'all said, man. Just to see him run the ball and then to run it at precious times, not just a scramble for his life type drill.
Clutch.
He stepped up in the clutch and really tried to get him into field goal range, and in which they did. One thing that I keep thinking about, and I don't know if if Ruggles, if he just kicks better from the left hand side, I would have liked to see them just go ahead and line it up right in the directly in the middle of the field. That's the one thing I kept wondering the whole time, like why are we not getting right in the center of the field? You had enough time, maybe center the ball up, spike the ball, and get, that automatic, straight up lined up shot. But, I mean, to see those guys fight in the way they did, a lot of guys counted those boys out and didn't even let them get in there to really have a shot at the game. And they really showed up and really balled for a little while. The defense was kind of lackluster. Tui Mulawau, he had no tackles. I don't know where he was, but
he had none.
And that was supposed to be the heart and soul. And to see Steel Chambers, he got an interception. It was a couple of things here and there that just didn't go away. And I had said it back at one of our preview shows. You going up against the top dog, Bulldogs, and the number one in the nation for a reason. And you can't have any type of mistakes. You can't have any type of, oops, we have let this happen, missed tackles, the bot snaps, whatever it may have you. You got to have a flawless game. And for the most part, they played well. And to see him come out not still playing coming up this next Monday, it hurts, but like we always said, we're proud of how the game went.
That's excellent.
Yep.
Lieutenant Dan.
We was looking like Stephon Diggs watching the Chiefs celebrate
That's right.
in the confetti. That's what we was looking like.
All right, speaking of that last drive, though, trying to get into field goal range.
Those 3 passes.
First down. Well, they run it on first down and lose about 3 or 4 yards, which was huge. Kicking from 50, and that's a little bit of what I know. Ruggles, goes into that kick. If you're a golfer, it's familiar with that. We call it overcooking it. You're really trying to rip one, and it usually ends up with you're set up too close to the ball. You don't get your rotation right. Your timing's off, whatever. I've heard it's similar to that, and he had a lot of pressure on the line. 50 yards is, that's long. If we would have been 45, 47, things are a little bit different. But that last series, losing a couple yards on first down and then trying to throw it on second and third down, I understand what you're doing, and not having Marvin Harrison Jr. in especially that key situation.
Was it a hit? Like, I know it was a hit, like a tackle, but was it a hit? You think they tried to take him out on purpose?
I mean, and if, once again, piggyback off of that, we didn't have no Mayan Williams, no Travion Henderson. I think even the third string running back went down. You have no JSN all season. You got no Marvin Harrison Jr. You out there playing with next man up mentality, but you don't even have your best of the best to even take on number 1 seed. So once again, hats off to the Buckeyes, but they didn't have a full arsenal to go up against those guys.
Well, and second half, I didn't like the defense was still playing. When you got a 14-point lead, they were still playing a little bit of like press man, just one safety over the top. I like a little bit of too high coverage, back off, just let them throw that tight end, just let them dunk underneath, slow it down. Also, I mean, the AD and I were talking about this. The fake field goal was awesome. I love the play. It was a great play call. And props to the Georgia sideline, and whoever in the booth saw that, called the timeout ahead of time. We might have had 12 men on the field anyway, but I like the creative play call. It was a good idea. And, man, if they get that fourth down and extend their drive, eats up some more clock, man, that's certainly looking like a Buckeye dub. But, man, hell of a game. One of the best games I've seen, despite a loss. Still highly entertaining. And the Michigan-TCU game before that, but – I mean, a loss, but a highly entertaining game. So, I mean, we couldn't ask for more out of the Buckeyes, man. They showed up. They left it all on the field. Stroud even had a good comment. That's what he said. He's proud of himself. He left it all out there. Just those damn Georgia Bulldogs.
To your point about the kick, I think it's not even that. If he missed it so far left, I don't even think if he would have moved up a couple yards, it would have changed.
Yeah, it was left off
the way
of his
he
foot.
kicked the ball. Like, it's not like it was one of them. It was just up under the ball.
Oh, it was spinning sideways.
It was like a duck kick.
All wrong.
And it went like the hand of God just said, "Nah, not today." Like, you thought you had it. Like, you thought you had the dub. Nah, hey, man, that's really what it was. But
It's tough, and I hope Noah Ruggles didn't catch too much flack from the fans around here. I'm sure he did.
But he did.
I mean,
struggles.
Well, it is what it is. Tough loss for the Buckeyes. So, but the game before that, you guys watched that Michigan TCU game.
You could be Michigan fans, and our team didn't show up. Like, their team didn't show up at all.
Yeah,
they forgot they had a game. Like. And they kept shooting themselves in the foot.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely watched that game from start to finish too, just to be tuned in, because I was kind of rooting for the rematch because I wanted my get back this year.
Oh, for sure.
I wanted the natty and I wanted my get back, and I almost thought I had both. It was 3.5 minutes left in the TCU Michigan game. I called my bro. My bro's a Michigan fan. I'm like, Michigan at this point down 17. I'm like, well, just talking my little trash. What's going on? And then next thing you know, Michigan going to run. It's top of the fourth quarter and they down 3 now. I'm like, oh shoot, they really got a shot at this thing. Just don't fuck it up, basically. And they did exactly. They fumbled the bag, and then they ended up losing by, I think overall 6,
51-45.
51-45, and it was. I thought they had a real shot. McCarthy thought he was a real passer because he took advantage of a poor Buckeye defense that gives up big plays often. He didn't carve them up, and a couple pick sixes in there. Didn't do what it was. I've been saying TCU might win this game the whole time, but it looked like it happened.
We'll hope and see. Yeah, we were talking about live betting earlier. I was able to snag Michigan plus 7.5 live bet around middle of the second quarter. Luckily, they backdoor that late touchdown, so they cover. And I should have taken those over-unders. I think TCU Michigan put up 44 points in the third quarter, highest scoring quarter in bowl history. It was just awesome. Big play TCU. They can run the ball. I'm anxious to see them against Georgia. It's a hell of a day of football, especially those games back-to-back. That was an exciting 8 hours. So let's get to it. Natty, Monday,
you guys
8 o'clock, I think.
Colorado will be a contender next year.
Let's take a peek.
Of
Look
course.
up what time it is. We got a question from the chats. Who wants what?
Do you guys, my guy left from the north, do you guys believe Colorado will be a real contender next year in the conference, and will they make it to the playoffs and win with all the top new recruits? I don't think that they're going to be a playoff team next year, but in the Pac-12, I believe they'll be able to. In the Pac-12 East, I think, or in the East and West with the Pac-12 too. Or however it go, I don't think they're on. I know they're not on the side of USC and them, which USC and them will be gone. I think Colorado just got to wait a year. I think they got it's now. So this season, up and coming season, will be 2023 and 2024 when USC and UCLA come to the Big Ten. It opens up the Pac-12, and then they're gonna have to deal with the Utahs and whoever try to maneuver to the Pac-12, trying to make another Power 5 power move because USC and UCLA is now in the Big. So just give Deion a year.
Right,
I don't think they're going to be a contender next year, but they're going to be relevant. They're gonna probably have some fly uniforms, and they're gonna make that black and gold look cute.
They will be making a bunch of headlines.
Deion. Check out the Deion documentary too. That's on Amazon.
They'll be close to. They might.
I don't know about a playoff.
I don't think they'll make the Pac-12 championship, but they'll contend for it.
I used to believe
They
that
could.
it takes, the presidency, it takes 4 years for things to, from one president to another. I used to think that it takes 4 years. You get your coaching staff all through and all the old recruits out. But these days, with that transfer portal open up, you get players to come in, and Deion's name is ringing bells, man. Everybody wants to play with Coach Prime. So it may not take as long as we think. I think that, like you said, that Pac-10 is kind of loaded right now at the top with USC, and Utah is no slouch either. But I think they may shock some teams. I think they may be able to come in and, to get a couple games under their belt.
As the Denver Broncos have shown us, sometimes it's tough to bring in a whole new crew and have success right away.
But in the college football thing, like USC was just irrelevant before Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams showed up. Maybe like with Prime and Shador, and Shador now got a real shot in the Power 5. Maybe we can see how he really, holds up to all the top quarterbacks in the NCAA.
They got Shador #1 in the Heisman Trophy. I didn't see him a couple of places. Shador is #1 in the Heisman Trophy.
If he put up the type of stats that he was putting up against in Jackson State, he's legit. Like he got everything you need, all the tools.
But that'll be
gotta see him perform.
As they always say, there's a big difference between Power 5 conferences and the rest.
I think if you a dog no matter what.
I mean, how much of that bullseye is going to be on your back at that point? Everybody's
already
going
on
to
his
know where
back,
to shoot
though.
for.
Yeah,
It was already on his back. His dad is prime time.
It's going to be exciting one way or another.
I think with the way Deion is, he definitely got him prepared for that. So yeah, Colorado that's gonna be my third team from here on out.
Let's finish this season.
I got my
first,
Buckeyes
on a Monday.
I got my Buckeyes. My Trojans is back relevant, and now I'm a Colorado. Boulder, shout out to Boulder.
You're a Buff fan. All right, national championship Monday night, 7:30. Georgia, 12.5-point favorite. TCU, the big underdog. That's a lot of points. Georgia can blow some people out though. Who you guys like? You think
Ohio State.
TCU gonna show up?
Yeah, Max Duggan.
Max Duggan.
That dog's a dog. He's a dog, and I don't even think he had a great stat line necessarily as far as efficiency.
But how about 12.5? Can TCU cover 12.5?
The way they make big plays, as long as they can hold the defensive front for Georgia, yeah, because them big receivers ain't no slouches, and they got more than one receiver too, just like we did. I think they definitely have a real shot. You can't count the Heisman runner-up.
Here's your money line, Will. TCU plus 360 just to win straight up. And then you get to root for it. That's the thing, man. You got to root for it. It's hard when you're betting and rooting for your money. But if I'm going to throw on my purple K-State shirt and root for the Horned Frogs, over under 62.5. There you go. Let's root for a shootout. That's another one I like to do. because I don't really have a dog in the race, I'm going to root for TCU, but
No pun intended.
I also like to root for points. I don't have a dog in the race. That's right, fuck Georgia. Go TCU.
It definitely go TCU. It's definitely Big Horn Frog Nation. LaDainian Thomason be on the sideline.
Toad.
I can't even think of another top TCU.
Ooh, there you go.
Andy Dalton, where you at?
Nice.
Red Rifle show up on the sideline. Like, we need everybody on the sideline. Yeah, I said we, because forget Georgia. Forget the sec. I'm anti-sec at this point. It's not even, I ain't even, it was the Bulldogs cool, or maybe Alabama's run might be done, but, Saban ain't going to just, go away. Damn. That's why he's trying to get them to expand the playoffs. But Georgia's reign might be here to stay at least this decade, and he got me nervous. Yeah. So forget Georgia. Right. F Georgia.
I was looking at one of Stetson Bennett's his
old ass.
Darnell Washington. He's out.
Almost 30.
He's out, and that's one of his top go-to guys. But I'm looking at TCU really coming in here and trying to play Cinderella, and they won me over when they had played that Big 12 championship game against Baylor. Or was it
K-State?
No, not K-State. It was a game before the championship game, which was Baylor. Yep. And they had to fight from behind and came back from behind. But I know this team has a lot of heart, and I just know that they're not going to come in here and just lay and roll over. And a lot of people thought Michigan was going to take it to them. And I think they're going to have that same game plan. If they can make Stetson Bennett come and throw the ball and turn it over and put pressure on him, because that's the only thing they got to rely on. If you put pressure and chop the head off of the snake, then you got a better chance of winning that game. But we seen what Kirby Smart's gonna come in and make sure he has his guys ready for that coach, game. Man.
He's a great coach, but his old ass quarterback need to lay it down somewhere. That man 26 probably got kids and everything, so he going against teenagers. He need to just go ahead and get his degree, and get up out of here.
All right. National championship's gonna be exciting. Good end to the college football year. My K-State Wildcats got thumped by Alabama. Goodness, that was gross. And LSU, man, they put it to Purdue yesterday. The Tulane USC game was wild. There's a lot of good finishes.
Yeah, they folded.
North Carolina, that was a good one-pointer.
Oh, my
and
God,
USC,
they lost too. All my squad just losing.
Yeah, they did.
And North Carolina had that game too, man.
I felt hurt because I walked away from the Tulane and USC. I'm thinking it's over with. It's like probably about 4 minutes left, and I'm looking at Tulane like, it's done. I walk away. I'm hearing my son say, "Oh, Tulane, they won." What? How, Sway?
Yeah, right.
Hey, man, that's why you never turn the game off until it's triple zeros on the clock.
Especially in college, because a big play can happen like that.
And that game was a shootout. They kept going back and forth. But the best game that I enjoyed the most was that Penn State game, man. That was a real I like the big plays, and they had numerous big plays in the air, on the ground. Penn State really put it to them boys.
Yeah, as soon as Cam Rising went out, it was game over for Utah.
I felt sorry for Cam.
Poor guy. But yeah, that was a good one there too. You got hurt. Yeah,
had a knee problem. Third quarter.
Yeah, mid-third quarter.
It's tough to get injured around bowl season.
Well, Utah was down one. They were driving.
It was back and forth.
Yep.
But
After
just something about that Penn State boys.
Yep, they look good. Speaking of Saturday in Ohio State and Michigan, we're going to kick it back right here to Columbus. This game took place last Saturday. Just to mention our Lady Buckeyes, we got to keep it local. The Ohio State Lady Buckeyes took care of that team up north on Saturday here in town, 66-57. Buckeyes 15-0, number 3 in the country. They've got a couple easy games here over the next few weeks.
15-0 at number 3. Who was 2-1?
South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. The Gamecocks don't play.
Let me pull it up. Stanford.
Well, Stanford's always good too. Okay.
But the Lady Bucks got a couple easy. They got about 4 easy games until the end of January. They take on number 16 ranked Iowa. And
Minnesota that's coming up Thursday.
Number 6 ranked Indiana. So a couple of top 25 teams in the Big Ten for the women. Indiana number 6, Iowa 16, and then your Lady Buckeyes at number 3. So something to keep an eye out for. We've got a few games here over the way. Also, you can bet on them. Women's basketball is a thing. Check your sports books, and I know a lot of people find it easier to follow some of the women's lines. Men are tough to handicap, but so anyway, there you go. There's your Lady Buckeye update. Keep an eye out for them. Hey, they might be playing for a national championship here in a couple of months. So kind of fortuitous that they all played on the same Saturday. So there are a little bright spot as we headed into the new year. And that's all I got on the Lady Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
So, NFL time.
Yeah.
Can we just throw last week away and just discuss what's coming up?
No, sir. But why would we do that?
Because,
All right, we got some comments flowing. I like that, AD. Nice little touch. A little hard to read from this far away.
That boy ain't got no hits.
Parlay.
Got him in a part.
Cause he got the Cardinals. He asked me, do I think the Cardinals could possibly upset y'all in week 18? And I said, not even slightly.
But you take that 14 points. San Francisco's a 14 point
AD, if you're still
favorite
out
over
there.
Arizona. That's a lot of points.
Not that
I
AD.
mean, just in general.
The AD
So
who asked the question.
I think you kind of lean that way. San Francisco don't play with their food, as we like to say on this show. That's why they are probably somewhere in Will's top 5 at least. And speaking of NFL Week 17 in my San Francisco
It's a
49ers.
cheese comment. Can you delete that cheese comment in the comments?
Speaking of Week 17 in my 49ers, man, they fought to the very end against the Oakland
Vegas.
the Oakland
Raiders.
Raiders.
I was praying. I mean, I was
Hey, we
hoping.
got
I was
some
hoping.
clips on the board.
I thought we couldn't see this shit.
Wait, hang on.
I thought we
gritty.
wasn't.
Hit the gritty.
I thought we got flagged.
Yeah.
I thought we was getting flagged for
For
that.
one time
Not
only.
that one.
I thought 10 seconds or less.
Dude, that was
he ain't tell us. Oh, now you want to put it up there.
Dude, that was funny.
right
All right,
there.
hang on.
It
Wait.
pisses me off seeing other people
Hang on.
gritty, bro.
I'm talking about my Niners.
Unless they're
and
doing it on the
Raiders.
ice.
Speaking of
The
gritty,
Raiders.
dude. So San Fran went into OT. The Raiders took them into overtime. What the San Fran on that case? Yeah, they were a 10-point favorite after Jared Stidham took over. Jared Stidham. I should have started Jared Stidham over Aaron Rodgers in my fantasy championship. What the? How does this
Hey,
happen?
if you had Daniel Jones,
But they survived. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Big plays came back. The defense slouched. So that's why I'm good. They got their 9th straight. San Fran's looking real good. But, hey, anybody, anytime, any game, that's how it goes. But they
given
survived. So
yeah,
that's
man,
how we're starting
I was
off
really
with my
rooting
guys.
for them Raiders. I'm like, especially because our
big
game,
after
our
you
games is on simultaneously.
Yep.
So I got the Raider. Because on my game, our Vikings Packers is on TV, and I got the Raider 49er game on the phone. I'm like, okay, we're losing. Oh, what? The Raiders is okay. Let's lock in. Nah, they don't finish it though. I think because of course if y'all lose and we lose, we still keep the 2 seed, but maybe us being in the 3 seed ain't that bad. I'll play the Giants again.
All right.
I guess that's like a first round bye for you, huh?
What?
If you guys got to play the Giants, you think you could just squeak right by them?
Man,
That's not what I said.
never look ahead.
you
He's
say?
he's confident they can take care
I mean,
of
right now the
Giants.
matchup is 3-6, so it's not looking ahead unless you just
Is that what-
discounting
is that
I'm
what-
asking the
Chicago.
question. If you got to play the Giants, do you feel confident that y'all can get past the Giants?
Oh, yeah.
I'm confident with whoever we play, and we're going to the NFC Championship. I keep telling you that.
All right.
Like I've said it.
Boom.
Noted.
Clip it.
It's already clipped.
We talking about
He does-
present
you-
day.
Bro,
He does- he does
I'm
say
not
that.
why would I waver? Huh?
Throw it to that clip. I got it.
We ain't got. It's somewhere in that NFC preview. Or
13
whenever I
and 4
talk
say
about
no
my
more.
NFC.
This year
Speaking
that
of
will be
NFC
me. 13 and 4 say no more. I got the Vikings going 13 and 4, and that's unbiased as possible. If you really looking at the schedule, I know you guys, you got 10 and 7. I don't know what the hell you looking at. 11 and 6. I respect that, but you don't got us winning the division, so I can't get cool with that. This 13 and 4 say no more. Like I said, they literally done every single thing. Now I've literally tried to take out the fan. I swear to God. No, I ain't supposed to say that.
All right,
but
well, let it-
I really
let's
took out
go.
the fan. But
Come
listen.
on. You've heard it. You're right. You say that every week. You say it several times. So, all right, there you go. He's confident. He's
Should
going
have
to take care
trademarked
of
that
the
last
Giants.
year, man.
Dude, the Giants sneaky good, man. And that's the great thing about the NFL playoffs. Anything, any given day. So let's get back to Week 17. Talk about the business we handled. We already mentioned Will's game. They got all sorts of implications on that. It's just up in the air. We're going to have to wait and see.
don't
Also,
think they're
what a
gonna have
hell
a
of a
game.
predicament with that, with the seeding. It's going to be very interesting to see what the NFL does.
I don't think they're gonna have a game.
Sound that way.
There's no way that they could do it. It's literally 1 week left.
You're right.
And they both
there's
got
games on
games. You
Saturday.
can't have games this week. You can't have a game in the middle of the week
Yep.
while they're preparing for
This
this.
ain't COVID.
Like,
So
no, this
let's
can't
talk
do
about
that.
you guys.
It's not much to talk about on that side of the ball, on the table either. So
What you mean?
What can you say?
What comments?
As far as what?
It was ugly.
What happened?
What happened?
I'm gonna
Give me a quick
The
summation.
things that I don't like is the pick six and the kickoff return, which is 14 points. If you take away those 14 points, it's a very doable game, and everything changes.
Okay.
If you take away Ohio State missing that field goal, everything changes again, right?
Yeah, I know.
You're right,
But-
though. The turnover battle and special teams.
But
Ooh.
that's because if they ran the ball kind of good, which is I think Aaron Jones went over 100 yards
For sure.
but Aaron Rodgers had a shitty game
Did he
For
really?
sure.
and their defense really outside of them.
Fuck Aaron Rodgers.
This is where I
Aaron
need
Jones,
my Vikings
111.
to. TJ Hawkinson kind of was disappointing. Like he was kind of pissing me off in the beginning of that game because I see that Kirk was intentionally trying to feed him the ball because of their game plan for JJ, which I hope other people don't take that game plan. Have your number one corner shadow him and have safety
But
help
why
over
not?
top. I mean, I
how
said
you
I
do it.
hope not. That's the
best-
smart thing to
That's
do.
the best receiver in the game.
Yeah. And he still
You
got,
need
and he's
your
still
best
leading
corner on him
receptions
at
and
all
yards.
times.
Even with one catch,
So-
and 16 yards, he still got the next best man by 6 catches and almost 100 yards.
Nice.
So even
Who
with
is-
a bad game here and
who is
there,
second?
he's only had possibly 4 bad games this whole year.
So I
He's
mean,
pretty
I
good.
said this against the Colts. You guys get down 33-3 in the 33-0, correct? In the first half?
It was 33-3 going
It was
into halftime.
33-3.
33-3 in the first half.
Semantics.
No, you said that back. You've been
Let
saying
him
this
finish,
since
let him
Buffalo.
finish, let him finish.
Okay, so you get down what I said to the coach. You get down to 33-3 in the first half. You get down the same amount almost. I don't remember. You correct me if I'm wrong. It was a big margin at the halftime mark.
It was 27-3, I think.
All right. So I said this before. You get down to a quality playoff team, not the Colts. It's gonna be hard for you guys to come back. And we've seen that this past week. I mean, where did your offensive production ever come from? You keep marking on, do
do you really want to talk about the ins and out of football or just the
asking a
score?
question for you to
All right, well
answer.
then
You don't have the answer, Baze.
I do. I got all the answers you need. Well, when your third string center can't fucking snap the ball, when the whole line's off the line, but the center ain't snapped the ball yet, that's an issue.
That was an issue.
Like, if you want to talk about the ins and outs, but nobody care about what's going on in the trenches. Don't nobody care about the right tackle getting hurt. Don't nobody care about the third string center.
But see,
So we're
that's-
talking about timing right now, man.
That's what
y'all
affects you
going
during
into
the
all
playoffs.
that
You point
bad
at your- you
stuff.
point-
It was a bad time. It's a bad time. We're going into playoffs right now.
No. It's
Playoffs.
not.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I predicted this as being a loss before the season started, so I just don't like how the loss came about. I knew we was going to lose this game, which is why I didn't make any bets with any Packers fans.
All right, here, let me rephrase this for you.
Go ahead,
What
man.
are the issues in the game that you can address going into the playoffs? Like you talk about your O-line play, the center. What things can they fix to help them get through the playoffs? Because obviously you're concerned.
Oh, man,
we
I
get
think
that.
they just-
Obviously you're not. We get
it's-
that.
it's-
But they showed some issues. Green Bay exposed some things. So what does Minnesota address moving forward?
They need to address Ed Donatel. If it's any real question mark on the team, it's Ed Donatel and that damn scheme. If we're not good enough to take, we're out. What they call a opportunistic defense because we're 32 in yards allowed and all that other crap. But we do get sacks and we're high in turnovers. So if we're not getting sacks or turnovers, you're just getting a bunch of yards on us, and then you're going to be kicking a lot of field goals, or you're going to be just possibly scoring touchdowns. And that's not even technically the case of what just happened because the Packers offense didn't do much this past week.
All right, I got you. Okay, got to cause some. We got to win the turnover battle is key. AD, you got some thoughts.
You know I got to hop in here real quick.
Oh yeah, what are you? Yeah,
Your fake scenario that can't happen.
give us your rebuttal.
All right, so I don't think it's so much as the Vikings played a bad game. I think it is the Packers are clicking at the right time.
There, that
I think it's more that the Vikings are a good team, but if you look at point differential, there's 2 teams worse than them in the entire league.
And
one of them's the
Raiders,
Buccaneers,
and one of the Raiders.
Panthers. Raiders actually have a better one now.
after last week. All right,
So either way, the Vikings have won a lot of games close through what you would call luck, bounce of the ball, stuff like that.
I mean, it depends what you're asking, but yeah.
I mean, it's not who I'm asking. They've won by field goals. They've won by very close games.
yeah.
11-0.
I wouldn't call it luck, but like I said, it depends on who you're asking.
There you go.
They very much remind me of the Steelers from 2020.
I disagree with that.
That's fine. We're going to find out. But just in the trajectory of the team, the Vikings started off hot, and you were fighting with everybody the entire season. Hold on, let me go. You were fighting through the entire season that they're better than people were giving them credit for. And I was even on your side. But if you look at the last few games, they got smacked by the Lions.
No, we didn't.
You did not?
We lost by 11, but we didn't get smacked.
The Lions.
All right.
Okay, you got beat,
All right.
but
The
you got
Lions
beat
are
by
8-8,
you got
so don't
beat-
disrespect the Lions.
You got beat. I'm not
I'm
disrespecting
right.
the
No,
Lions.
you just did.
I'm
No,
going
I
to
love
predict
the
the
Lions.
Lions are going to beat Green Bay this week potentially.
And Seattle's going to get in the playoffs. I know.
Yeah, but we'll get into that later. But Green Bay is clicking at the right time. If they can get into the playoffs, they're healthy. They hadn't been healthy all year. Dobbs and Watson hadn't played together until like week 8. They finally figured out if they can get into the NFL playoffs, that's probably the last team anybody wants to play with Rodgers and the defense. And now that you throw in Richardson, or not the returner, I can't remember his name. But you throw he is the best returner by far in terms of stats and yards in the NFL. It's not even close.
Special teams count.
Yeah, and I learned that the hard way last year, where the Packers lost that game in part because they had a blocked punt in the 10-yard line.
Yeah, that's right.
Like special teams killed us last year.
It's all 3 phases.
Yeah, this isn't Rodgers' team to carry through the playoffs. But if the defense and special teams play to the level that they've been playing these last few weeks, they've been picking off. I mean, I think they lead the entire league in the last 4 weeks of interceptions.
I think that's.
I got it. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, when the Packers was a 13-4 team, why should I believe in the 8-8 team? When they were 13-4 with expectations of making.
You know about the playoffs last year?
The last 3 years, they're always a 1, 2, 3 seed, right?
Oh, and I've addressed this. The Packers are not a good cold weather team, which is ironic because they play in Green Bay. They can handle when it's like 10-20. When it's 0, now I've said this 100 times. A.J. Dillon going down last year at the beginning of that game killed their entire game plan. It was try and tackle this 270-pound beast of a man in the 0-degree cold. And he went right down the field and scored on the first drive. They couldn't even tackle him. Because it hurts to tackle people when it's that. It kills you.
I've been in that cold weather.
So have I. So A.J. Dillon playing in that, him being gone, killed their entire game plan. Rodgers is not a good cold weather quarterback. He's just not.
So him only targeting Devontae Adams and
Right.
we got Aaron
I'm
Jones.
not going to the
didn't
detail. I'm
change.
just saying in general. But him, and I said this, and I'm sure you guys remember it before the season, I would much rather them be a wild card than the champions because I want them on the road.
Yeah.
I want to see them go on the road. If we end up playing San Francisco in week 1 or anyone where it's a warmer or even a dome, I have complete confidence in the Packers.
Yep.
I've never
All right.
seen
I gotcha.
Aaron Rodgers successfully beat the Niners in the playoffs.
He's beat them at least once. No, he's lost
Never.
one. He's lost them.
All of them.
Yeah,
You get
but
To Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick,
hopefully
and
you
Jimmy
don't
G.
run into the 49ers then.
I mean, if they make the playoffs, that's who y'all play because I don't see the Niners losing that last game. But so y'all rightfully took the 2 seed from us, which is I'm cool with
San
that.
Fran going to get the 1.
Well,
All right, thanks,
I just-
AD. I also agree with
But
you.
to the
Packers
point
are
of us being the 2020 Steelers, the thing is, people actually believed in the 2020 Steelers and the 2021 Cardinals. Those seasons that they started off hot.
The Steelers throughout the entire season, people were saying that they're beating crappy teams and they're beating them
But those
barely.
are mostly like the quote unquote. I mean, I don't know people. I mean, I
was
know
a-
a lot of people who really believed in Big Ben and the Killer Bees.
Yeah, but there was a lot of chatter that they were the most overrated. It was trending on Twitter at one point. The most
We don't
overrated
even
team.
have that. Like
Okay.
nobody believed in us from even the preseason. There's only 3 people who believed in the Vikings winning the NFC North and having a solid record. It was me, Randy Moss, and Michael Irvin. We are the only 3 people who. Oh yeah, and Shannon Sharp predicted us to go into the NFC Championship game and win the North. So we are the only 4 people. Yes, I have 4 fingers.
There you go.
We are the only 4 people who believed in the Vikings coming into the season.
You nailed it. All right, we're going to cover some of the other games in there. All right, a couple issues to address on the Vikings. AD thinks the Packers are ready to roll. Their
They
defense
played
is
2
looking
bad
good.
teams,
They've
a
been
division
playing pretty
rival,
good.
and a dude that had a concussion.
And
I
we'll
don't
see
believe
what
in
comes
the
up
Packers.
next week. We'll discuss that in Week 18.
That
The
was a
rest.
response to the chat, though, not you, Big A.
All right, the rest of the Week 17. What else stood out to you?
Did GOAT type things.
Dude. Man, I do not like Mike Evans. He cost me a fantasy championship, so he can stuff it. And you too, Colin. Denver hung with Kansas City a little bit. We surprised.
They did.
That's just what they do.
It's the defense kind of build.
Cleveland looked all
Kinda
right.
got to 'em.
Jacksonville's looking good.
Kenny Pickett with a game-winning drive.
Giants 38-10. I was surprised about that. Kenny Pickett
Is
keeping
balling.
them alive.
And they got a chance to make this playoffs.
Yep. That
Like, it
Ravens
could be
defense
something
is
like
pretty
last
poo-poo,
year. Like,
but-
remember how the Steelers made the playoffs because other teams lost?
Yep.
This could be that.
It's not this year, buddy.
All right.
You said that last year.
Let's keep
And even if they do
going.
make it, we seen what happened last year. There's nothing different that's going to happen this year.
You don't think the Steelers are going to make it?
Steelers make it, they're doing the same thing they did last year. First round exit.
All right. Wrapping up week 17.
They got everything they need to upset whoever at the 2 seed.
Somebody like the Bills.
Who wants to go
That's a
first?
strong possibility.
What are we doing?
We're going to do Baller of the Week.
Ballers.
Week 17, that's it.
Just pick one, Big A.
Atlanta and Arizona, man. Comes down to 1 point game. Miami, New England wasn't a bad game. I'm surprised New England's offense showed up. They looked like junk the last couple of weeks with Matt Jones. Throw my guy up there, the most dynamic player in the league. As I said 2 weeks ago.
He's officially back as the best running back in the game.
193 yards. Isn't that right? 193 yards from scrimmage. Look at that, man.
Talking about overall, yeah.
It's a savage mofo. 6.5 yards a carry. Come on. 121, 1 TD, 6 catches, 72 yards. Man, he's a stud. Count on him a lot. And like I said, I talk about it all the time. He's a great passing block, a great pass blocking running back.
He literally
Man, Brock
do
Purdy
it
played
all.
great too. Threw an interception, but still looked cool and calm in the pocket as they handle business. But a lot of that relies on Christian McCaffrey, especially with Debo still out. George Kittle and Ike do their thing, but the most dynamic player in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey, was my baller of the week.
Most of the time, you always hear that, everybody talk about his elusiveness, but he even went beast mode this past game. You seen him break a couple tackles and get into the red zone.
That's usually how he get hurt, though, so
Yeah.
he need to chill. I mean, if it's one team who's an op that I don't hate, to be y'all. Like, if yeah, I'm kind of still rooting for. I like Christian McCaffrey, so I would like to see. I mean, if we can't be that team, I would like to see him stay healthy and be a real focal point of a team that has a chance.
But, the league is better when the stars are healthy and they can go out there and do those kinds of things because that's what's fun to watch.
They literally got 2 players that could do damn near everything: throw, pass, and run. Yep. And Debo and Christian McCaffrey. And it's like, man.
All right, Jer, take it away.
You
mentioned him earlier. Who's your dude? Who's that dude?
The one and only GOAT, undisputable, 45, 432 yards.
My favorite picture.
That was just him the picture was, I seen it, and it was just him reminding everybody, like, hi, I'm still alive, people. I'm not going anywhere. But 432 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 total, because he had a rushing touchdown in there. No interceptions, and 127 QBR. 127.3 QBR. That boy Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II was balling. Got the NFC South title, but everybody already knew that. Yeah. But it's just the fashion he did it. He threw 45 passes and the man's 45. The man is just, he's amazing, bro. Outside of him being, graduating from TTUN, I can't, that guy's amazing.
Whatever, less than impressed.
When he get in that's who you really should be dark horse scared of in the tournament for anybody in the NFC. It's Tom.
Yeah, but when you got somebody that Tom can throw it to,
he ain't doing that often.
Go ahead, bring it up, Big A. When you throw it to this guy out here, the guy that Rye loves to hate, he had how many yards? But 207 of them went to Mike Evans, man. Good. 10 receptions, that's a good 20.7 average, as long as one went for 63. 3 touchdowns, Tom had 4 of them. You know what I mean? So anybody else was they was Mr. Irrelevant pretty much, no Brock Purdy hate. But Mr. Mike Evans held it down for the whole entire Tampa Bay squad right there. So he had a good game against Carolina, who's a weak defense. But hey, man, week 17, he stood up and had a lot of fantasy points and had somebody fantasy owner very proud. So shout out to my man Mike Evans, who's my baller of the week. Let that thing go, man.
Dude, he hung up 62.7 against me. We do 50-yard touchdown bonuses, so his 2 50-yard TDs got him extra 10. 62. How am I supposed to come up against that? In the last 5 weeks, he had only had 60 combined, man.
He only had 3 touchdowns coming into this game all season.
Because him and Tom ain't been clicking.
3 touchdowns in one game. Made up for lost time.
And it's all about timing. We mentioned Bucks did this 2 years ago. They were like 8-6. They lost a couple in a row. They went on their bye, and then they went on and won the Super Bowl. Dame time. Ooh,
that boy.
I can't wait till we get to the NBA. Speaking of, Not necessarily Dame time, but it's been hot. It's been popping in the
Ain't no
association.
New Jersey levels tonight, but yeah, I can't wait to talk.
We're going
NBA.
to talk some hoops. It's been good betting action, too. Yes, from the back section.
The peanut gallery.
Yep, that's what
Baller of the week for me. Sorry, Jair. Got to be Jair Alexander. And honestly, the entire Packers defense.
Jesus Christ.
Seriously, you got to remember, the Vikings beat the hell out of this team. Stop. The Vikings beat the hell out of the Packers in week 1. They were like 1-5. Wait, that was my Madden team. They were not a good team. I had written them off. I was ready to play love. The way the defense has been played, not just this week, but the last few weeks, but this week specifically, you had a team that beat you by, how much was it, 25-30 the first week?
It was 24-7.
Yep. You have
23-7.
And on the Vikings side, the Vikings should have been more motivated than anybody to put the Packers out of the playoffs because they know better than anybody what the Packers can do. They had the chance to, if the Packers lose, they're done. There was essentially a playoff game for the Packers, and the Vikings dropped the ball so hard. And Jair Alexander shut down Jefferson with some help from the safety, but just the defense in general completely shut down that offense. That is one of the best offenses in the league, including, in my opinion, one of the 2 best receivers in the NFL. It's Jefferson, Chase, and then Adams. Like those 3, that's that category, and then there's a big gap. They shut them down. That's not easy to do. Packers defense completely ballers of the week.
All right, that's deserved. All right, throw that in there. That is right, though. You were calling for Jordan Love a couple weeks ago. Ooh, anybody got any honorable mention? Dude, Jared Stidham, man, he balled out.
Oh, yeah, my honorable mention would be Kenny Pickett.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, cool, moving on. Let's do...
Great time.
Yep, it's 9:30. We're going to step aside.
Celtics is down 20 to OKC.
We got a second. When we come back, we're going to hit you with Will Ward's top 10. We're going to get jiggy with it. We'll be right back on That's Debatable.
Hello, I am Annie J. Ross Womack, the Executive Director of the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, and I'm here to talk to the parents and student athletes about a very important topic. The NCAA has instituted different standards for all divisions of student athletes. Before you can play sports in any college or university, you must present a negative trait status or hemoglobin status documentation. Your hemoglobin status is taken at birth with the newborn screening. And what they do is they run your blood for any abnormality or any birth defect. There are thousands of newborn screening birth defects in this country. For more information about sickle cell disease, sickle cell trait testing, you can call our offices at 614-228-0157. Or you can visit us via web at ohiosicklecell.org.
13-4, say no more. This year, that will be me. 13-4, say no more. I got the Vikings going 13-4, and that's unbiased as possible. If you're really looking at the schedule, I know you guys, you got 10-7. I don't know what the hell you looking at. 11-6. I respect that, but you don't got us winning the division, so I can't get cool with that. This 13-4, say no more. Like I said, they literally done every single thing. Now, I've literally tried to take out the fan. I swear to God. No, I ain't supposed to say that.
All right,
but
well, let's go.
But
come
listen.
on.
I got
Green Bay, week 1.
Heck, I don't got us losing until we play Miami, and we really might beat Miami.
Which is when?
Week 6, headed into our bye week, so it's gonna be looking good. And if we don't, and it really goes how obviously the only game that I could see is possibly losing besides any other game would be the Green Bay game. But I think it's so much pushing towards this week 1 game of this new start. We either gonna get smacked in the face and realize just because it's new don't mean it was gonna be easy, or we really gonna roll them week 1. But we'll see how that goes. But I really don't think we're gonna lose until Miami coming out of that, beating Arizona, beating Washington, losing to Buffalo. I think very highly of Buffalo. Beating Dallas, beating New England, beating the Jets, beating Detroit, losing to Indy, beating the Giants, and this Green Bay game right here. I have us losing, but by that time, Green Bay might be done with their season. We don't know. They might still be competing for a wild card spot, maybe.
I hope so.
I mean, they most likely will because of the 4 or 3 through or 5, 6, 7 is kind of, it could be anybody. So, I mean, just looking at the season, it's really on to pencil in certain losses. 13-4, say no more.
Welcome back to That's Debatable. Thank you for sitting tight with us during the commercial break. My one note is, I thought of this during the week. The Bears next season, they should try and tailor their offense to look like the Philadelphia Eagles this season. The way Justin Fields been running the ball, David Montgomery, Herbert in the backfield, pound that rock. Get a little bit creative, add some size at wide receiver. Just some food for thought.
Seen
we like
my
our
man Justin Fields as a running back this past week against the Lions. I don't know if you peeped that.
Few months.
No,
Well,
literally
he was
as
actually-
a
I know
running
he had
back.
100 yards like in the first quarter, but I'm
No,
saying.
literally as a running back.
Cool.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Get creative.
You have to check it out.
All right,
You can put him at running back.
we're taking into it.
I'll have to show you.
That in mind. We'll check. All right. Will Ward, take it away. Top 10. It's that time.
Oh,
You know what it is.
All
Take it away,
right,
Brody.
folks. Get ready because this is the last Power 10 ranking of the year, playoff edition per se. Hey, if you ain't in a playoff hunt, you're probably not on this list. But at number 10, we got the Green Bay Packers, who's kind of trying to creep in right at the tail end of this season. Aaron Rodgers didn't have one of the best games of his career. He only went 15 for 24, 159, one touchdown. But they was able to find a hole inside of that Minnesota stifling defense because Aaron Jones did run for just 14 carries, 111 yards. Then they even allowed my man Darnell Savage to get a pick six for 75 yards, all the way back to the Chris Nye. But Green Bay does have a play-in game. If they are able to host the Lions, then they may be able to get into the playoffs and put a little bit more fear into those Purple People Eaters' hearts and a couple other teams in the NFC. But we shall see. So
He fell to the third seed.
we shall see, like I said. At number 9, I got those red hot Jags. Jags have been getting hot at the right time. They've beat up on those nasty Tennessee Titans. The Titans lost 6 straight games, but this week, they played the Texans. Then this week they got the Titans coming in. They have lost 6 straight, like I said, the Titans have. But this game against the Jags is for the AFC South title. The Jags held a 21-0 lead going into halftime. They had 3 rushing touchdowns led by my man ETN, who had 108 yards. 62 yards was his longest. So this week, they got a chance to get the number 4 seed if they can win an AFC South title. Whoever wins, they're in. And at number 8, we got the one that nobody believes in, but my man to my right, all the way to my right, that'd be Jared Bays. Got the number 8, Minnesota Vikings. They got thumped by the Green Bay Packers, 17-41. Kirk Cousins had an abysmal 18 for 31, 205 yards, 1 touchdown. That was not the
Somebody
JJ.
didn't watch the game.
3 interceptions. That's what I did see. No matter what the stats may say, they did not get the dub. And they had a horrible rushing game by the whole entire team. Just 20 rushes, 102 yards. And my man Cooks only had 9 for 27. They do have to go to the Bears this week. And it may be cold out in Soldier Field, wherever they play at right now in Chicago. But we'll see if they're able to take care of business and going to the playoffs surging of sorts. At number 7, I got those Los Angeles Chargers. They were the king of LA. They took down the Rams 31-10. Austin Eckler had 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. 1 for 72 yards. He leads the NFL with 18 touchdowns, 18 rushing touchdowns. This week, they do have the Denver Broncos. They have to go to Denver. Excuse me 1 second. They cannot sleep on the Denver Broncos because we've seen how Denver did play very well against Kansas City this past week. So they have to continue to stay focused to get ready for the playoffs because they may have to see those big, bad Bengals coming up. But we shall see how the playoff is going to get shaken up. At number 6, got those Buffalo Bills. Shout out to my man, Damar Hamlin. Keep him in your prayers, ladies and gentlemen. They were not able to finish this game because of the unforeseen injury. And like I said already, keep the guy in your prayers. We see where they're going to shake out. They do have the New England Patriots coming up at home, and we'll see if that game is going to be played. So at number 5, I got the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, they may call them. Dak Prescott had 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's kind of shaky for them right now. They got to go to DC. Don't know if we're going to see what quarterback we're going to see. We're going to see Heineke. Going to see. Hopefully, we see Heineke. I'm going to just leave it at that. They need to win to get in, or not win to get in, but they need to win to potentially seal the 2nd seed. If they win and Philly loses, then they can get the 2nd. If they lose, or if they win and Philly wins, then they get the 5th seed. So they got to kind of rely on Dak. They got to rely on Zeke, who's had 9 straight games with a touchdown. Right now, he's the 5th player in since 2000 to have that type of streak. So at number 4, got the team that's going to be trying to hold down that number 1 slot in the NFC. They have dropped a couple of slots, but or quote from the coach himself for Philly: if Jalen is able to play, he'll go, because they do want to solidify that number 1 spot. They have to play the New York Giants. They're expected for the New York Giants to sit a lot of those players because New York has already solidified their spot. But if they beat New York, then they solidified that spot. But it's going to really rely on that sprained right shoulder of Jalen Hurts, because we seen with Minshew Mania, they may be able to get in, but he didn't look too good against New Orleans this past week. So that's why they continue to drop. And going into, like I keep saying, it's about timing at this point, ladies and gentlemen. At number 3, I've been saying it all along, and it's the 2023 NFL Super Bowl champions going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. They did not get to finish that game, as we already said before, but they were starting to roll, and they were looking pretty good. The first drive came straight on the field. Tyler Boyd hooked up in the back of the end zone. Joe B connected with him, and we're going to see what happens with them. They can sign, seal, and deliver the AFC North title if they can take care of the abysmal Baltimore Ravens, who's been looking horrible. They lost to the Squealers this past week, and she'll go from there. At number 2, this team has been just barely scraping by the skin of their teeth. Patty Mack joins the likes of names like Tom Brady and Drew Brees as the only multiple 5,000-yard passers in the NFL history. They got to take on the Raiders. Right now, KC is won the past 4 games. But like I said, they're relying right now on Patty Mack. He had 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, but they really struggled. They had a bunch of fumbles, a bunch of miscues. They almost sound like the Minnesota Vikings, but they actually was able to correct some of those and get a dub. But it was to the Denver Broncos, so that's not saying a lot. It did at number 1. I got those guys that defense has been stifling all year, and it's really starting to come around. They were able to hold off the Las Vegas Raiders. Right now, Brock Purdy still hasn't lost a game, and that defense has been helping them out. They can clinch the number 2 seed with the win or a Minnesota loss, and they can get the number 1 seed with the Philadelphia loss and also a win from themselves. But they got to take on Arizona, so we've seen how Arizona's been playing. They've been sticking the joint up. They're like 4-12 right now, so they should be able to take care of business against Arizona. But don't play with your food, San Francisco. Take care of business. And right now, I see Jared steady writing down, so I'm gonna try to hold it down for a little bit longer. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna try to, chop it up, screw it up, and go ahead and spit it out, my boy. That's my list, man.
Excellent. Patrick Mahomes, your passing yards leader at 5,048. Josh Jacobs is your rushing yards leader at 1,608. Just a couple of there. Always like looking at.
Hey, go back and get the playback, man. I know I talked a little fast, but hey, you can slow it down for y'all to catch up.
San Fran, we got you.
You said the most against when you brought up the Vikings.
The list ain't bad.
The list is
garbage, trash.
Close to it.
I
mean, you got the Packers in there as a top 10 team. So that almost discredits your damn list already. Because you left out the Lions, who's ahead of them. You left out the Seattle Seahawks, who's ahead of them. And you left out the goddamn New York Giants. Was they right? Is the Giants in here?
This is a top 10
they're
team.
not in here.
Exactly.
Because
the Giants is definitely a top 10 team who already
They got into the playoffs. So how long are they going to last in the playoffs, my boy?
And you think that the Packers is going to last longer? They're not even there yet.
Go ahead,
Apparently
man. You said,
does.
chop it up, screw it up.
But you said, I'm chopping it up, I'm screwing it up, and I'm spitting it out. So, exactly. You said in the hunt or already in the playoffs. So, by that mark, this team's already in the playoffs. Your Giants got to be a top 10 team.
Yeah,
if you put them at 10, 9, whatever.
Those are your clinched, just so you have something to look at.
Yeah, clinched.
Hold on, math.
I don't see the Packers there at all.
Math. You said to be a top 10 team, they got to be in the playoffs?
That's what he said.
There's 14 teams in the playoffs, so how is that going to work?
Well,
But
of those 4,
how would a team that's not even in the playoffs be in the top 10 above those 14?
Because if you're looking at power rankings, it's the way they look right now.
Right now. It's what I've been saying the whole entire year, man. It's right now. Who's leading trending right now? New York Football
The Giants didn't just beat somebody. They actually blew somebody out.
That's right. Let him. The Colts. They smoked. They smoked them.
Now it's
Mike Jones?
The Jeff Saturday led Colts.
Hey man, a blowout's a blowout.
Man, we talking about what they want to do. Can the Giants?
The Lions didn't just blow out somebody too?
Can the Giants?
You've been high on the Lions all year, and they beat the Packers.
But are they going to beat the Packers this coming up week in Green Bay?
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
Why?
I don't believe so. Because the Green Bay Packers are riding hot right now.
And the Lions
the
aren't?
Lions are.
Oh, so when the Lions was playing the Vikings, he said these same exact words. They were riding hot right now.
Because
They're clicking at the right time. You said all of this stuff. The Lions still ain't clicking?
The Lions are clicking.
They didn't just put up 41 points?
In Green Bay.
They already beat Green Bay.
Seattle needs to win.
Yeah. And Seattle. But Seattle's also, all these teams got the same record.
But if Detroit needs help, Green Bay controls their own destiny. So just by that fact,
Green Bay win, they in.
yes, Detroit still needs Seattle to lose in order to make it, even if they win.
So I know I'm making the case for Detroit and Seattle why they're not in 10 and he got the Packers in here.
Because
Green Bay
right
win,
now,
they're in.
And that's if they win. But as of now, the team that's there.
Yeah, keep going.
All right, go ahead. What you got, man? Start your top 10. Number 10.
Hey, like I said, Jags, I don't even know how you got that team in there in your 10.
I got Jags at 9.
No, I'm talking about the Packers. When you don't got the Giants and they're 9-6-1.
That's his.
But the Chargers at 8, Mini stay at 7, Dallas at 6, Philly at 5, Cincy moved. I'd say Cincy at 4, Buffalo at 1. It's a draw, so we don't know what's going to happen with that game, and we probably won't be able to see that matchup until the playoffs, most likely. Again, prayers to Hamlin. KC is 2, and San Francisco, I'm with you there. They look good, and I don't like it, but they look great.
I like your Buffalo and Cincy right there at 3 and 4. And man, just the first 7 minutes of that game last night, we were going to have a heater. Those teams, the tough part about them is that red zone, both their red zone offenses are dynamite. I got big questions about Dally and Minnie as well. Philly's right there. Yeah, the bottom 3. Jags, Giants look pretty good. Chargers is sneaky.
Too,
the Packers trending at the right time. That's how the playoffs work.
One thing I want to know about Philadelphia, and we all know that right shoulder of Jalen Hurts is hurt right now. How long are they going to be able to, bar an injury, and we all know, and we've seen for the last 2 weeks without Jalen, if they don't have him, like how far can they really go in the playoffs?
I don't think very far at all. And we're going to get into the NFL Week 18 schedule like right now because Philly has got what? The Giants? Yeah.
Philly got the Giants.
New York Giants coming into Philadelphia. We're talking about the New York Giants as a potential top 10 team. They just smoked the lackluster Indianapolis Colts, maybe playing at the right point. But you talk about physicality and tough, gritty, nasty playoff teams that only need to win one weekend. The Giants fit that description. You can run the ball with Saquon. Daniel Jones, big question mark. But if they take care of Philly, and what's the update on Hurts? I believe he's still doubtful.
Well, like I said, the coach already said if he's able to go, he's going to play him. And for how long? If he's going to be on a snap restriction?
Is that a good idea?
It's not. And luckily for them, I think the Giants is going to be sitting most of their players anyway. So they're going to be going out there against the second string.
Because the Giants can't move up or down.
It is a good move.
And since they can't get a bye, and they already know that they're going to be most likely facing the Vikings, and they already played us, they're going to be sitting guys. And so that way they got 2 weeks.
And that's what Philadelphia is banking on. They get a win, then they can get that number 1 seed, which gives you a little bit more time to let Jalen rest a little bit longer. So you put him in the first half, let him go ahead and run over the second string, third string of New York, and then you be able to sit him for a little bit longer. Let Minshew come in and play closer.
This is also, if you're listening to the information my guys are doling out, this is all deep game info. The Giants might be sitting some players. They might not be motivated. Philly might be motivated to get that 1 seed. This is all stuff you need to take to that pay window and to your betting tickets. When you're looking at this weekend and you're trying to bet games, be careful of what lines you're looking at. Easy covers. They might be playing second, third string, things like that. Information is power and money in this game. So, just a couple of notes. I like to tie that in because that's where we're at in Ohio nowadays.
All right, what else we got? Cincy and Baltimore don't even matter no more.
It's still for the AFC North title.
Technically, yeah, but with no Lamar, it's not as exciting. If y'all lose to Huntley, y'all don't deserve shit if y'all lose to Huntley.
It's not happening. You ever want to put one of those, what you call a parlay, where an automatic win, bank it on that one.
Saturday, you got football. There's other good news. Chiefs and Raiders, and the big one, I guess, Saturday night, Titans at Jacksonville for the AFC South title. Jacksonville's been rolling. Tennessee has been on the downslide. Ryan Tannehill's been hurt. He's another one. Derrick Henry was hurt last week. So if they're rolling a banged-up team into Jacksonville who's hot, Jacksonville should roll them out the door. Other playoff scenarios, let's see. Tampa Bay at Atlanta, New England at Buffalo, Minnesota at Chicago, New York at Miami, Carolina at New Orleans, Cleveland at Pittsburgh, Chargers at Denver, Cardinals at San Francisco, Rams at Seahawks, Cowboys at Washington, and Detroit at Green Bay. So, yeah, that Sunday night game, Detroit-Green Bay, obviously the big one. But we'll have a little bit more revealed Sunday afternoon, And, yeah, some teams are, done. I mean, what kind of Chicago team's going to show up? What kind of Houston at Indianapolis, two teams, Who has first pick? Who's the worst team in the league?
Houston. They do have problems.
They got probs. All right. Anything else with Week 18? Who you guys want to put your cape on for? Who's it matter for? See, and that's the thing. San Fran can still get that number 1 seed. So I need to cape for the Giants to beat Philly.
Correct.
So what I'm going to do, we got that Superman cape graphic up there. Drop that pretty big man. Cut that. We're not clipping that.
The fuck was that, man?
The other Superman cape with the actual dude with the cape.
I just keep forgetting to delete this.
I don't think I have that one.
Nah, it's in the drive.
I got it somewhere.
It's in the drive.
I'll find it.
Anyway,
it's the number 1. It's a number.
It will make sense later on. I am caping for the New York Giants. They need to show up and roll into Philadelphia. Yeah, I don't know, some motive, some effort. Because I would like my San Francisco 49ers to get the 1 seed. So if New York rolls into Philly and stomps them out of there, I would appreciate it. But then, of course, I need my guys to show up against it. There you go, that guy. See, that's the dude. Superman flex. Put that cape on the New York Giants. Who you guys got?
17.
Willie?
I'm going to put mine on for my man Stidham. For Stidham to go out there and do what he did last week.
There you
but
go.
This time get a dub.
My guy.
My man Josh Jacobs. I need some points, my boy. So first, I didn't get a couple of points this week because I didn't have Jamar Chase. I didn't have McPherson. So I'm really down right now in a championship game with our fantasy for the debatable.
And that's a 2-week running championship.
Yeah, so luckily I'm down probably by maybe about 20 points. So I'm gonna need some big points by Josh Jacobs. But I really believe that Vegas can take down KC. Seeing how KC's been fumbling and making miscues, I think Vegas can get them. But then I want to see Green Bay. I mean, I said that the Lions have been hot. I told Jared weeks ago that they were going to struggle against the Lions and Green Bay. And right now,
we were 1-1 against both teams, but continue.
But when I said they were going to win, they did both times. But I want to see Green Bay go ahead and get in. I like what the Lions have been doing, but I really think that Green Bay is more because of right now how they're rolling. Jair Alexander is really in the heads of a couple of different receivers, not just JJ.
He's not in JJ's head.
Still leading the league in
one
catch for what, 5
Dude
yards, 15
elbowed
yards?
the referee and threw his helmet multiple times.
Almost. That was wild.
That's in the game. I guarantee he's not thinking about Jair today.
But Green Bay, go ahead and seal it. Get it into the playoffs, and get on the road, so we can clear the narrative up of them losing at home, and we'll see what happens. So I got my cape on for Vegas and for Green Bay.
Cam, watch another show.
You got Vegas beating KC?
Yeah, it's another comment you could delete in this chat.
All right, Jared, who you caping for?
So I got 2 capes.
Oh, man. It's going to be a tough week.
But
It is tough.
I want to put on my cape for Gino and Jared. Gino's going to go to Jared. Jared Goff and Geno Smith, of course. I need both of them to have good, big performances this weekend. Nice. And 1, because Geno's my quarterback. And 2, I just want the Detroit Lions to have some hope about the playoffs because it'd be nice. Packers in the playoffs, Lions, they're not going to do anything. I don't even know why you guys want to see that so bad. I don't even see how they're going to get through the Niners. Like their consolation prize would be playing the 49ers. So I don't think that's something they want.
Revenge from last year?
If there was a way that the Green Bay could get, because the only team that I know he owns for sure in the playoffs is the Dallas Cowboys, who Aaron Rodgers, but he can't get Dallas. So I don't. Okay, the Bears aren't making the playoffs.
Not the playoffs.
Yeah, but Gino and Jared is really who I'm caping for. But I don't know what the Vikings is going to do this weekend. I don't know if we're going to sit guys. That part hasn't came out about what's going on. But because of the lackluster performance against Jair Alexander and that secondary and that team, mostly because the line couldn't give Kirk time. But he only had 15 yards last game. My man needs 207 yards to still break the record of Calvin Johnson.
Nice.
So I need. It's very possible. I've seen him go for 223 yards, so I don't even want to hear that. It's very possible.
He needs 207 to break it.
Yeah, he needs 207. Calvin Johnson's record is 1964. Right now, JJ is at 1771. And again, with that bad performance against the Packers, Jefferson still leads in receptions and yards, so he's not thinking about it. But I would like for him to get 207 yards to go ahead and break that record, but I just don't know what my Vikings is going to be doing this up and coming Sunday because we already locked and sealed, and we might be comfortable with the 3 seed now that we're here.
He needs 194 to break it.
That's even better.
Your math's backwards. You're good. God dang it.
Yeah, that's even better.
I had the point to make.
Or maybe he needs 207 to get to 2,000. No, he's not even going to get to 2,000. Hold on. I don't even think it's possible.
Nah, man. Anything's possible.
Oh,
just
wait.
His career high will get there.
We're going into week 18. You're caping for Geno and Jared Goff, who are like fighting for playoff chances, which is absolutely nothing any of us thought at the beginning of this year. 2 of the biggest surprises of the season have been Geno Smith and Jared Goff and those Lions.
I had the Lions.
Just one of those things that comes
go
full
back
circle.
and I'll pull it up. I'll get the clip.
I'm
I've been
generally
saying
speaking.
the Lions has been coming.
You have.
You said that they was going to come in second in the
Beginning of the season.
in the North because you said that.
Look at that. Caping for Geno and Goff. Also, the Lions have been
You
excited.
also said that the Packers will win the division, but that's beside the
Okay. All right, let's keep this train rolling.
What?
I just need to know.
I threw on hella capes.
Nah.
Oh, I didn't even put the actual cape on.
It's still Green Bay. If Green Bay wins and Seattle wins, Green Bay's still in, right?
Yeah, because of the conference.
Correct.
Because then it
Because
goes
they
to,
went to the conference or the divisional games.
Correct.
yeah.
If Green Bay winning it.
Has one more NFC games than
There you go. Seattle needs help, then Detroit needs help.
But the records is up there. It doesn't,
Yeah,
They're both 8 and 8.
They're all 8.
But the divisional games is where
they
it
don't
comes
got
in
the
at.
full what their
Since the
record.
Lions and
All
the Green
3
Bay
are
play.
8-8, but it comes down to
Right.
the Seahawks have a better conference record than the Lions do.
Yeah.
So they would win that tiebreaker, but the Packers have a better tiebreaker conference record than in both of them. So the Packers win, they're in. The other 2
Lions
depend on
only
the other
get in
ones.
if Seattle loses.
Correct. And the Lions win.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, all you can do is win. For the Packers, just win. For the other ones, win and hope you get
Right.
a little bit of
help.
A little bit of help.
Help from my friends. All right, there it is.
That's
Bing
why the Lions
bong.
and the Seahawks will win, and the
And then
Seahawks is going to make the
also,
playoffs.
that Tennessee-Jacksonville game, Tennessee is still able to win the AFC South.
Correct.
Right. Just don't see it happening with
That's
Joshua
ugly.
Dobbs.
Nah.
Yeah, that's.
But
you can wrap
they
that
did
one up.
sit Derrick Henry and a lot of those guys last week to kind of reserve them for this week. So look for a heavy dose of King Henry this week.
Well, and here's
I mean,
another
that's
one.
usually their game plan.
All right, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh's still got a
That one was
chance.
tough.
Pittsburgh's still got a shot. So wouldn't it be nice to be Cleveland and just shut them out? You know what
I
I'm saying?
got Cleveland circled on mine. I didn't
just-
circle Pittsburgh for that
Oh,
one.
That's what I wanted to do is go Cleveland.
Hey,
'cause
so
I
what does
just
the
talked
Steelers
myself.
need to happen for the Steelers to make the
We,
playoffs?
who, everybody to
one
lose.
more time, Adam. The playoff bracket. I think Steelers are somewhere down like 11 or
They would
They're at
need,
9.
they would need all three of those teams to lose, and then
so
the
Dolphins
Titans to
right
win
now
probably.
Or outside of the playoff picture?
New York Giants.
They're outside the playoff picture right now?
Who?
The Dolphins?
No, the Dolphins are
No,
number
they're
8.
on the bubble.
But yeah, they're in the bubble. They're not 7.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Oh,
you
that's
would
because they
need-
lost this weekend,
You would need New England to lose
which is very possible.
because they got Buffalo.
Exactly. So I could see
You
them.
would need
losing.
Miami to lose
I could see that happening. Who Miami got?
to New York, the Jets.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
What's your favorite word? Somebody
Dude,
play spoiler?
dude,
The
division-
Jets
Yeah, but
definitely
right
play
now
spoiler.
it's not
Divisional,
Mike
man.
White.
Divisional
Or is
matchup.
Mike White back?
He's
Mike
back.
White came back last week, but he didn't play so good. And they got eliminated last
But
week.
anyway,
yeah,
AFC picture still got a few things down there, and that'll be.
Watch.
Come on, Cleveland.
That's how
This is
Kenny
I'm rooting for
Pickett
Cleveland.
get in the
That's how
playoffs.
Pittsburgh did it last year. They won and everybody else, or they lost and everybody else lost.
Kenny freaking Pickett, the guy who changed the game
All
forever.
right, Capes. All right, it's 10 o'clock. We're going to wrap this up shortly.
We ain't no.
We got
Shout
a little
out
bit of
Donovan
sports.
Mitchell, 71
We're going to
points.
do a little bit of sports betting. We're going to talk a little bit
Clay
of
dropped
NBA.
52.
Kirk lost you a fantasy
James.
championship. Should have started Daniel Jones. Me and a guy were talking about this at the gym, talking about him starting Daniel Jones. Those sneaky rushing yards, rushing TDs, Daniel Jones can sometimes roll out fantasy points. And man, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with fantasy championships. The ESPN update said the time period for this game has been extended until they have further information. Like me, I'm going against a guy for our fantasy championships. So ESPN's fantasy football, like I got Jamar Chase, the guy I'm playing's got Joe Burrow. I mean, he's got me beat. I'm dead anyway, but it won't, hasn't officially ended. So there's a lot more question marks with that going on too. But the beautiful thing is, January 1st, here in this great state of Ohio, sports betting is now legal. There's a couple sports books here in town. I know Hollywood Casino is putting up Barstool Sports, and I think Scioto Downs has a Caesar sports book in there, as well as many other bars. And I know eventually you're going to be able to bet tickets at Kroger.
Sponsor.
They'll have terminals at
Barstool.
Kroger that you can
next to the
bet,
bar.
man. It's going to be awesome.
Need a
So...
Barstool Sports.
You guys got
sponsor.
any? I got one tonight. I got DeMontis Sabonis over 34.5 points and rebounds. So I need that one. Anybody out there in betting land?
telling
You
you
guys
now.
got, I know Adam's got in on it. You two haven't. And keep tuned in to Yamo Media. We might have something coming your way dealing with some sports betting and things like that. So the great thing is it's a good open debate. Talk about what lines you like, what parlays you like, the parlays and props and teasers. You get pretty in-depth. So it's exciting. As you can see, there's news and things everywhere. What else do I got?
We went over that 3
think
times
that's
this
tonight.
year. Twice this year.
All right, NBA time. We don't have an updated Jerry levels, but if you haven't been watching the association, the Brooklyn Nets are on fire.
So,
Golden State Warriors a little bit up and down. And last night, Donovan Mitchell, you can see it there at the bottom, went bananas. I think he was the first person in history to have 70 and 10 boards or 10 assists.
He accounted for 99 points last night. Yeah, 71 points. Did the most points scored since Kobe.
That's that dude.
Since Kobe scored at 81. They kept overlooking Devin Booker because I thought Devin Booker scored
Devin
72.
scored 70, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he scored 72. No, I didn't know he had like a flat 70.
Well, I don't know if it's flat, but
No, it was a flat
it
70.
was over 70.
Yeah, no,
It was a high,
It
argument.
was in the 70s.
70 even.
It was 70 even
On
for
the
both.
dot.
That's why shout out Spider Mitchell, man. That's a special player. He ended deciding to do that against my Bulls last night too. That was crazy. I think he had
No
50.
Darius Garland.
He had
A lot of
I think
players
no
missing.
Mobley either.
Yeah, no Mobley.
Yeah, he had like 50 points in the fourth, going into the fourth, or
Yeah,
going into
55 in the second half, including
overall
the overtime.
Yeah, but I think he had 50. I'm trying to think. He had 60. He scored 13 points at the OT. So what did he have going in the OTs? 57? No, 59. Somewhere in there. I think he just went crazy in overtime. So he just kept going. I ain't with all that crap going on. Not crap. With all that stuff going on last night, that did not get looked at. I'm gonna have to look at the highlights of that.
Yeah, Cavs were down 21 at one
Bron
point.
had a good game last night. Bron, Klay Thompson. It's a lot of guys. Zion, Embiid went crazy last night. Zion just got hurt again.
Ooh, what happened to Zion?
Just a pulled hamstring. He was going crazy against the Sixers too. Right now, and the Brooklyn Nets is looking like the best team. Sports Betting League in Ohio. I'm telling you right now, go ahead and put your money on the Brooklyn Nets winning it all, man. Go ahead.
We looked it up early. NBA
12-game win streak for Brooklyn.
Here, I'm going to check it real quick.
The hottest team in the NBA. I'm happy I didn't do Jared's levels this week because when I do it next week, they're going to be, and we like that. So,
hey, 73 in the last 10 for Cleveland. So
we were talking about
one of them 3 losses is to Brooklyn too.
What do you say? 7-3 in the last 10. Cleveland's good, and that was at home. They've been very good at home.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised the Bulls were up 21.
Yeah,
so that's a big thing. We were talking
it's even
about
shocking
again.
that we was up that much.
You know, that fight, that dog in him would come back. NBA, Jared was talking about it. Kevin Durant plus 750 to win regular season MVP. So that's 7.5 times your bet. That's good future odds. It probably will only go down from here on out.
Yeah, because now they're going to take the Nets serious. That's why I said buy now while you can.
Yep.
Hang on.
And let's look at NBA futures real quick. NBA championship, the odds-on favorite, Boston Celtics at plus 360. Brooklyn Nets at plus 600. Milwaukee Bucks right there as well. Golden State 700. Clippers, Memphis 1,000 and 1,200 respectively.
Tell you, I'm gonna get my Brooklyn and Golden State championship. I'm gonna get it. KD versus Steph. I can't wait.
one of these years, right?
Yeah, 2023. Why not?
All right.
Except the Warriors might not go back.
Yeah, because right now, trash.
Yep.
Jordan Poole just went crazy last night too. You know, when it's a baddie in the stands, he always go crazy. I heard.
Dude, Jordan Poole, he's been on fire too. You know, again, player props. We've been talking about points, overs. All right, January 3rd. Happy New Year, everybody. 2023. Hang on real quick.
And I got an announcement. Well, not an announcement.
AD.
Yeah, but before we went, I just wanted to say something about Hamlin last night and some news that's come out. I saw it during the show. It got dropped as you guys were talking. So here's the tweets, both from Ian Rappaport. Just spoke with Donald Glenn, Hamlin's uncle, who said his nephew is on ventilator, but he's improved to 50% oxygen needed after being at 100%. He's still sedated, but main focus is recovering to breathe on his own and healing lungs. But he's getting better, which is a great sign. And on the other side, which everything that bad happens has that equal and opposite reaction. I don't know if you guys heard this story or not, but Hamlin has a charity that his goal was $2,500.
And they got 4.8 the last time I heard about it.
It's up to like 5.5 now.
Yeah, the last time I heard it was like 4.
So, like, and people are, like Russell Wilson and his wife put in $10K. Tom Brady, Josh McDaniels, Commanders, players, coaches, everybody around is putting into money into this. So, obviously prayers and everything out for the situation going on. But if he gets to wake up and see that,
that'd be
what an amazing
awesome
moment that would be for him.
That's wild.
Especially since it's for the kids too.
Yep.
Yeah, again, prayers to Hamlin. Prayers to Hamlin and his family. Also, one of our longtime listeners, one of my very best friends, he passed away a year ago. His name was Carrington Melton, aka CJ. He was our first call-in listener. He was our first call-in on the show last year when we were still on Score, and he just very special. Like I said, it's coming. It was just a year over that time. Just shout out prayers to CJ and his family. Prayers to Hamlin and his family, and we'll see y'all next week. He missed. He hit the TV though.
Hey, we're getting closer though. You seen it was a good shot. Hey, share this out, folks. Appreciate you guys watching.
One love.